Greg Leslie from the University of New South Wales, who's the director of the University of New South Wales Global Water Institute, was supposed to do a brief introduction, but he's unfortunately ill and unable to make it today. So William, also from UNSW, has very kindly agreed to step in. So I'll just quickly run through his bio, then I don't need to do it later when you do your own talk. So William's an associate professor and principal research fellow at the University of New South Wales Water Research Laboratory in the School of Civil and Environmental Engineering. His primary fields of interest are related to estuarine hydrodynamics and water quality, including restoration of estuarine environments, acid sulfate soils, coastal wetlands, boat wake waves, that sounds quite fun, outfall hydraulics and field testing and related physical and numerical models. So thank you, William. If you can.
Thanks for having me. I never know what I'm doing another thing, so I appreciate it. Oh yeah, so I'm stepping in for Greg. Greg is the director. It's a really interesting organization. Am I going the wrong way? And so we have this thing called the Global Water Institute, and it's bigger than Ben-Hur. It's a huge thing, and I've been fortunate enough to travel around the world with Greg and the director before Greg, spruiking the benefits of the Global Water Institute. So what is it and what do we do? What we found at the University of New South Wales is there are many academics in different faculties, in different areas that all somehow work with water, but weren't working together and weren't using our knowledge cumulatively to actually do something bigger than the individual. So they got together this idea that if we had a global water institute, we'd be able to sort of have a focus and a drive and go global. And that's been the aim of what we call the GWI. So there's 400 of us. We include professional academic PhDs from 7 faculties and 13 research centers just within the one university. And this is why we thought we'd better start working together. So we exist to provide excellence in water education, to try to connect that area between, I guess, the applied and the fundamental. That's a big issue right now for us. And to make sure that people that want to work in that space know that we're there to work with you. So I think Greg would be remiss if I didn't say this is an ideal situation for us where there's a utility that has particular interest in something, and they can grab people not just from one area of the science, but from all over. So I'm at Manlyvale out in Water Research Laboratory. Fiona is in the main campus, and then the other people involved are in even different schools and in different buildings. So we don't normally work together on these things until they brought us all together and said, if we focus this attention, it might be of value. And we work in a whole range of areas, so there's everything from water to water resources to coastal and aquatics, and I'll talk a bit about what I do, and Fiona will talk about what she does. There are other people involved in this group that aren't here that would send their apologies, but they do a lot more in lines of the actual algal growth and I guess the algal risk. And I've been fortunate to take this message, and we've gone to China together, and we've gone all around Australia, and they've into Vietnam and other places, selling the idea that if you need people in water, we've got hundreds. And that's probably all I have to say.
Thank you.
the entire Western Treatment Plant site is a Ramsar site. So one of my concerns is that around the world there have been quite a number of mass casualties of birds, some in the tens of thousands, related to toxic algal blooms. So this is a risk at Western Treatment Plant. And at some time, particularly in the middle of a drought, we can have most of one species of duck in Victoria sitting on Lake Borry at Western Treatment Plant. Here is, I guess, the overall reasons why we thought that the strategic approach was the way to go. So this is known everywhere. Nothing new here. Global warming appears to be driving conditions that would favour particularly cyanobacteria. They love warm, still water bodies. In cities which are aggressively urbanising, like Melbourne, we will find more Australians and wildlife living in closer proximity to shallow water bodies. We are still finding new toxins, new taste and odour compounds, and in new taxa and in new environments. And water authorities are resource stretched. So we want methods which are quick, reliable and cheap. Here are the known genera, now at 37, that produce toxins, and this is still being added to. And I just thought I'd finish with this one. So, global change is certainly contributing to big changes around the world. And atmospheric transport of microorganisms is something we know very little about. But we do know that in Victoria, the expansion of the Hadley cell is driving quite a bit of our change in climate. There's a review recently by the department around what is changing Victoria's climate, and expanding Hadley cell is a key part of that. And so we should expect there to be changes just through that in the distribution of microorganisms as they circulate through these Hadley cells. Here is a bloom recently, 2015, in Murray River, and this was the first bloom of Chrysospora. And it was a very large bloom that had an impact on the tourism there. So we're seeing around the world an expansion of certain taxa and also new taxa occurring where they didn't before. Of course, it's difficult to know whether that's increased surveillance or not. It is complicated, but there's a reasonable amount of published and unpublished information which suggests that this is occurring.